Hello, this is Igoro, host of the Igoro Show, and you are listening to the Steve and Crypto Show. So keep your ears open and your mouth shut.
Welcome to the Steve and Crypto Show presented by thestevestrout.com. I'm Steve.
I'm Crypto Zoo. Hope you guys are ready to jump and jive. It's episode 6555. And that might be the end of these damn rhymes too.
That's it. I think it's time to retire it's time to retire the rhyme.
I think it might be.
That was the last one. We had to get that in. I'm sure we'll say some dumb rhymes at some point, but I think we're going to stop trying to rhyme that number. First of all, they're getting dumb. Second of all, it's getting really hard.
Yeah.
We are going to try to do a new fun little feature because you guys know we like sending prizes and shit to people. So we're going to do a little trivia. Later on in the episode, we'll ask you a trivia question. And so I got Ryan, my fiance, she got me a horror trivia game for Valentine's Day, which we're actually recording on Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day, people.
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
So she got me this game and she was like, you can incorporate this into your show. And that kind of made me feel good that she cared and thought about it that much. So I was like, okay. I like it. So it's a horror trivia game. And some of these questions are easy. Some are a little harder, but I only looked at a couple of cards and I think this could be fun. So we're going to do it. Each week we'll ask a question from this game. And if you guys know the answer, send us a message on either in the Facebook group, which Crypto will tell you about in a second, or hit us on Instagram or Twitter, which, you know, we'll talk more about this too, but the Steve Strout, he's CryptoZoo88. You know, like I said, we like to do fun things and send you guys prizes and share stuff. So let's do that since you guys are always so generous with us and showing us a lot of love and places like Patreon, which you don't know about it. We have a Patreon page set up for this show, patreon.com/SteveCrypto. And you can go there and pledge to subscribe, whatever amount. Like, I mean, it suggests $5, but you could put $1, anything. It all helps. And we don't have tiers set up or anything. It's just if you're pledging something, you have access to exclusive stuff we'll post. We'll share photos of things, sort of, I guess, behind the scenes, if you want to call it. Photos of our stuff, collectibles, weird things. We did that quick episode of me talking with my fiance about games. We'll do stuff like that. We've been putting out videos, like unboxing videos and stuff, and just having fun with that stuff. And subscribers or patrons get first dibs to see all that stuff a couple weeks before we put it all public. So if you're a Patreon, I guess they're called subscribers or patrons, you get first dibs on all the all of our attempts at making entertaining stuff for you guys. And I mean, people are giving me good feedback on it, so that means we're doing something right. And thank you guys for tolerating, and tell them some other ways they can support us.
Well, you can hop over to our Facebook group page that Steve mentioned a minute ago, which is basically just facebook.com/the Steve and Crypto Show, or the Steve and Crypto Show podcast. Just type our name in and you'll find it. Come be a member. It doesn't cost you anything, just a little bit of your time to maybe check out some fun little, nerdy bits of news or whatever we decide to post in there, which, it's often things hyping up the show, but sometimes we post unrelated things in there, just shit that we think is fun. And we actually encourage all of you to do the same. You're welcome to post, anything that's like on the pop culture side of things, the horror side, basically, as long as it's not like political or religious, then you're fine. Yeah. It's not what it's for, but if you have like a book that you're writing or an album that you're working on, maybe you post a song in there or a little bit from your book or whatever it may be. We just want to help promote other people and what they have going on, and that's exactly what our show is about. So you can check out the Facebook group page. You can also head over to our social media pages, which are the Steve Strout and CryptoZoo88 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Feel free to send us messages there if you want to be on the show. If you want to come on, you're like, hey, I got something I'm working on that I think is fitting for the show. It doesn't have to be horror, but we definitely welcome that. So, let us know. Send us a message, and we just might want to have you on. Or even if you have a friend that is working on something, help them out. It's free promotion for them, to come on and talk with us for a little bit. And we enjoy it. We like connecting with new people. We've made a lot of friends in the last year and a half of doing this. It's been really fun. People that I especially thought I would have never connected with before. Steve has some of these people, were already friends of his before the show. And it's just nice to be able to be a part of such a fun community. Like pop culture community and pop culture community in general is fun, but like when you go to the horror section of it, those people are diehards, man. And if you guys are listening to the show, you're probably one of us, and you know that anyway. But we're very passionate about things that we enjoy, and other people might see that as nerdy, but we just see it as exciting, and it's just fun. It's like, why not show off the things that you love, and the things that you're passionate about?
Yeah, why not? Why not, right? Fuck it. And speaking of promoting other people and stuff, later on this episode, we're going to have a little chat with our friend Ainsley Pompey. She's one of the co-hosts of the One Dark Fright podcast. They're a really cool show to talk about movies. They have a really cool perspective on them, and they get kind of funny sometimes, which is right up our alley. So stick around. Later in the episode, we will talk with Ainsley, and she'll tell us about her show and a little about herself.
Definitely check out their show, guys. They're only a couple episodes in right now.
New show, but
it's new, and which is good for some of you guys that might open up a page to a podcast and be like, holy shit, there's like 200 episodes. It's overwhelming. I don't want to get into this. There are a few in at this point, so you can jump in and kind of get a feel for what the show is like, and it wouldn't be hard to catch up. So I recently listened to the Scream 3 episode that they did, and it's really fun. They teach you a few things that maybe you didn't know before, or point out some things here and there. Yeah, maybe some things that you might have not noticed or forgotten about.
Right.
Honestly, that's probably the film out of the series that I watched the least. So listening to it again was kind of nice. A little breath of fresh air. Like, oh yeah, I forgot that happened and that happened. So yeah, guys, definitely go check it out.
Like I said, that'll be later in the episode. So last week we talked about all kinds of stuff, a bunch of movies that you went and watched. So how has this week been? Pretty good.
The other day I was giving Riker a bath. I was starting the bath water up, I got the suds going and everything, so you couldn't even really see the water anymore. There was so much soap in there.
Yeah.
And so I'm tossing toys in.
Had a nice bath going. There you go.
Yeah. I just put him in, and I'm tossing some toys in. We got him this little basket thing that's kind of in the corner to the other side of the bathroom.
Did Boogersaurus take a bath with him?
I believe he did.
He did. Boogersaurus probably needed a bath.
He needs to brush his teeth.
Yeah,
he needs to brush his teeth. That's what he needs to do.
Dirty motherfucker.
So the tub's on the right side, and on the left side, I got a little basket with some toys, and I'm just kind of like chucking them over my shoulder into the tub, like kerplunk, kerplunk. And after a couple kerplunks in there, I turn to grab another toy, and I hear kerplunk, and I turn around, and all of a sudden, a brown shark had made its way into the tub somehow.
Ooh, that was not a toy.
There was two brown sharks, two little brown sharks in there, but there was also, a great amount of soap suds, and it was kind of hard to see.
Yeah.
And so you're
Did
like,
you
all
go
right,
in? Did
I'm
you
not
just
trying
go
to
in
touch
like? Did you go in like bobbing for apples?
Hell no. Hell no. I'm not trying to touch this brown shark. You know, I'm not a jackass trying to like go in and pet the shark.
At that point, you just got to reset the tub.
Yeah,
you got to drain it and start over.
It's exactly what I did. Like, man, we already had the tub filled up and everything, and then boop, 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 boop. Yeah.
He thought he was plunking shit into the water. He wanted to play too.
So I got a plunk for you.
Like, oh, I could top that.
And then a big brown shark came.
I could top that. Bloop.
At least he didn't have a G.I. Joe up his ass or anything.
And this was the kid, right? You didn't do this. Try to blame the kid.
I knew you were going to ask me that. And no, it was not me.
All right. You were upset, though. You were like, damn.
Yeah,
I should have thought of that. Should have thought of
that. No, more upset. Like, I got to, like, either, you know, go fish these out or just drain the water. I'm like, well, I'm going to drain the water for sure. This is gross. This is gross. But, so I was going to try to fish them out first. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't.
No, you drain.
It didn't really make any sense. Like, I'm going to drain the water regardless.
Do you drain it and like pick them up with a paper towel and like clean it out real quick, or do you just try to mash it down?
Oh God, no. No, I ain't no Joey Diaz. No, I'm
just mash it down to drain.
You ever hear that story?
No.
Like, I heard him talking about how he was in the shower once. He was talking about it on his podcast. He's like, he was taking a shower and he had to shit, and he's like, instead of getting out, he just like pushed it out and then like threw it into the tub threw it into the toilet from the tub.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No, you just get out. You just get out of the toilet. You get out of the toilet to tub. You just get out of the shower.
I'm sorry. He didn't throw it out. He thought about doing that, but he's like, my wife would kill me if I didn't, if I tried to throw it into the tub or into the toilet. So he just mashed it down. That's what it was. He's like, I just mashed it down into the tub.
You would think she would be more disappointed at the fact that he mashed it down the tub rather than just picked it up and tossed it into the toilet where it belongs.
Yeah.
That
Maybe
makes
he thinks he's
no
a bad
logic.
aim or something. Maybe he thinks he's a bad aim. I don't know.
Because he's not going to be washing his hands or anything after, hopefully.
Right. Yeah.
Unless he's like, hey, honey, come look at this. I got something on my fingers.
But yeah, so I had to, rather than trying to like look through the suds to find these little brown sharks, I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to drain the water, keep his hands away from it, and then I'll get him out, And
was he like trying to get to it too, just to fuck with you?
Well, he knew that he did it because I could see him like looking down, but he wasn't trying to reach for anything. But I'm just like, the next thing he's gonna do is try to reach for it. So I'm gonna just nip that in the bud before he even gets a chance.
And be like,
yeah. Yeah. So that's that's my fun for the beginning of the week. But yeah.
This episode's off to a great start.
Off to a shitty start, pun intended. Just a few days ago, I went to the BNI. We had a little family trip out there. Locals might know it's out in Tacoma, Washington.
And what exactly is the BNI for people that don't know?
It's basically like a kind of like a little mini outlet mall in a way, and kind of like a little flea market or something like that.
I call it like a flea market, swap meet kind of place.
Yeah, it's like a swap meet, and they have like an arcade in there. And this place has been around since I was a kid.
Since the 80s, it was a really popular attraction.
Yeah, it's been around a hell of a long time. And what's cool about it is, a lot of the stuff inside hasn't changed. Like, they have a Ferris wheel that's been there since I was a kid. It's broken now, but they didn't take it out. And
a Ferris wheel? Or like a carousel thing?
Or I'm sorry, not a Ferris wheel, a merry-go-round.
Yeah.
When was the last time you rode on something? Yeah, not a Ferris wheel, a merry-go-round. Yeah. So they have one of those. It's not functional anymore.
Right.
But it's cool it's still there because I remember riding it when I was little.
Right.
And so that's in the arcade. And then,
they have all these went? You went hoping to ride it, didn't you?
Like pushing my kids out the way, like, get me on.
Ooh, I'm first. Then it was
only I get to ride it.
Yep.
I
And
ride it by myself.
that's why he dropped a deuce in the tub, because you pushed him out of line. He's like, I'll get you back later, motherfucker.
Well, he shit in the tub before we went to the BNI, so that's my revenge. Like, just for that, just for you shitting in the tub, I'm gonna ride on the merry-go-round. You don't get to. You get to sit and watch me ride.
And you couldn't even ride it.
No. But anyway, they got the arcade. There's a nice little food court there. They have tons of shops. There's a shop there. I think it's like a record store now, and it used to be a pet store. And I remember my parents and I would go there when I was a kid, and my mom would be standing at the window just like talking to the parrot. And my dad would laugh. He'd be like, we'll go to every store in this place and come back. She'll still be standing there talking to the parrot or whatever birds are in the window. And, back in the day, this might be hard for some of you to believe that aren't local, but back in the day, this flea market swap meet place had a live gorilla in a cage in the corner, and his name was Ivan. And I think eventually they moved him to a zoo or something, right?
I'd never seen him, but I'd heard stories about him. Like, they even made that movie about him recently, didn't they? It's on like Disney or something. Yeah,
I think they did. Yeah. He was there when I was very little. I mean, I don't, physically remember going to see him, but like I remember my mom talking about it and then seeing pictures of us there and whatnot. But
right.
Yeah. So Ivan the gorilla was at this place many years ago, and even today, if you go there, there's still like some newspaper articles that are like in cases on the wall, about that. And,
yeah.
But yeah, it's a cool place to go to. If you're in Tacoma area, go check it out sometime. I mean, you can find a lot of things for good deals, from like clothing to collectibles, whatever.
You could go there and buy like a grill for your teeth.
Yeah. Yep. And a brand new system for your car.
Yeah. That was literally just ripped out of somebody else's car.
Yeah. They'll sell it to you for like $15.
It's like a big giant pawn shop. It's probably what happened. They probably sold the gorilla to somebody. Like the owner needed like some drugs and was like, "Yo, I got this gorilla."
Like, what's that gorilla do?
Yeah, nothing. He just eats and shits.
He just eats bananas all day.
Yeah, it's got to be worth a 20 sack of meth, though.
Yeah, I mean, because you could probably make some money back just by telling people to come over your house. Like, I got a gorilla in the backyard.
I let you see it. Give me $5.
Yeah.
Let's feed it a banana or something.
Some meth head's just got his kid with a gorilla costume out in the backyard.
That's funny. That's funny.
Dad, I don't want to play this game no more.
Yeah. So I know you've been waiting a while for the Evil Dead game.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. There's a short list of games I'm really like looking forward to, and ones that I know I'm going to buy. That's one of them.
Well, if you're sure you're going to buy it, you can actually pre-order it now. I don't know if you saw that. You can pre-order, go to evildeadthegame.com, and you can actually pre-order the game. So, and I think it has some bonuses for pre-ordering it.
Is this the same Evil Dead game that if you pre-order, it comes with 2 bonus skins?
I don't fucking know. I just saw that you could pre-order it and go to that site.
Is it the same game, really?
I don't really care about games, so not video games. So
I'm the game.
I was just telling you because I know you've been every time they push it back, you cry a little bit, and I don't want to see you cry no more. I just want you to know
every time
really
they push
happening.
the date back, my pillow gets a little more moist. Yeah, if you pre-order it now, you can receive 2 brand new skins for Ash, and I believe one of them is from Army of Darkness, and the other one is an S-Mart employee skin. So. You can I think in this game you can play as Ash, of course, and then like a knight from Army of Darkness. What is the main girl's name in Ash versus Evil Dead?
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
Kelly. You can play as Kelly.
Yeah, Kelly. Play as Kelly.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the ticket.
Yeah, I can't wait to play as Kelly.
Yeah, you can play as Kelly. And I believe there's another guy from the original Evil Dead. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And you know what else I'm looking forward to is.
Did you, before you carry on about that, did you watch the Evil Dead documentaries that I mentioned to you
Yeah,
a weeks
definitely.
back? Yeah.
Yeah, Hail to the Deadites.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
didn't watch
you
it
can-
yet. What'd you think of it?
It's great. Anybody who doesn't know about it, you can find it on Shudder. They talk about 3 of the biggest Evil Dead fans in the world, and the top one happens to live in Olympia, Washington.
She's
Which
actually
is
a friend.
cool.
She's actually an acquaintance of mine, and I actually want to get her to come on our show soon to promote her podcast. So we'll shout out to. I think they're kind of on a hiatus because they've already ran through every episode, but they have a podcast about Are You Afraid of the Dark, the series. It's called Are You Afraid of the Dark? Which you can go back and listen to the episodes, but I think because they finished running through the whole series, so slight hiatus, but I think they're going to come back with some kind of new stuff and do new things. But yeah, she's on the show.
I love their podcast name, and I love what they talk about. I gotta say,
she's definitely a fucking huge Evil Dead fan.
one of my favorite rap groups right now, a la Zululu, they have a lyric where they say, "Life's a movie. I'm just playing a part. I only care about Goosebumps and Afraid of the Dark." And that was my childhood. That was my childhood, man. Like, I only gave a shit about Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark and scary shit like that. I had to be home to watch Goosebumps every day. And Are You Afraid of the Dark was definitely on the list too.
We're getting more Goosebumps.
Yeah, we sure are. Hey, before we talk about the Goosebumps thing, though, you asked me about Hail to the Deadites, the documentary about Evil Dead. Before we get too far away from that, yeah, so it's on Shudder. It's really, really good. They talked to Bree, who's from Olympia, and there were 2 other people. I believe there was one from Canada. I'm misplacing her name right now, and I can't think of where the other guy was from. But they just talk about the franchise, and of course, Bruce jumps in occasionally and has a word here or there. I'm not going to spoil it, but there's an appearance from somebody else that's a popular face in the horror community, an actor that I didn't even know was in Army of Darkness, and you'll have to watch to find that one out. But it's really entertaining, man. Like, my girlfriend hasn't given the Evil Dead franchise a chance. Well, she watched the remake. She's kind of picky with horror. But after watching this, I didn't think she was even going to watch it with me. But she sat and watched the whole documentary with me. And after seeing some of the kind things that Bruce has done for fans over the years, and how many nice things people had to say about him, and just seeing some of the behind the scenes stuff about the whole franchise and what it means to people, including myself, she was like, "Oh, this makes me want to cry. I think I might actually give these movies a chance now." So I was like, "Gotcha."
Now you just need somebody to make a documentary of every other movie that you want her to see and enjoy, and then make her watch it, make her cry, and then she'll become a fan with you.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the
I
figured out the key to a happy marriage. Or happy, yeah.
Make your woman cry.
Hypnotize them with documentaries.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you know about the Goosebumps thing?
What I've heard is that it's going to be a live action series, but it's not going to be the way it used to be. Like, what do they call that? An anthology series, right? Like, so
they're going to be like a ongoing storyline kind of thing.
Yeah, which is okay, but
it's good, but
I mean, Goosebumps kind of like made me a horror fan as a kid, man. I was a huge bookworm, and that was the main series.
Did like R.L. Stein call you and was like, "You fucking be a horror fan, you little bastard"? Or...
I said, "Yes, sir."
And there you were. Here you are.
Well,
fucking weird.
Dude, I had so many of those books as a kid, and up until about 7th grade, like that's all that I did was just read those books all the time. And I mean, I would get through them pretty quickly. But
do you have them all anymore?
No, and I kind of wish that I did. I bought
some
one.
of them are collectible.
I bought one a couple weeks ago at Goodwill for 50 cents, and it kind of made me think, you know what, I might start collecting them again. And just if I find them at places for cheap, I'm gonna start buying them.
Well, there might be a bunch of them, like 20 of them, going up on eBay pretty soon. So keep your eyes open.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good to know.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about trying to collect some of them again so I can read them to my kids eventually. You know, maybe we'll see if they like them.
That's why I've been starting to it's going to take me a long time. It's going to be hard to pry them out of some people's hands. It's collecting issues of the Famous Monsters magazine.
Oh,
the one started back in the 60s and ended.
I heard there's a podcast advertisement in a couple of those magazines.
Not that magazine.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Different magazine.
Oh.
Different magazine. Only in one.
Right.
We the magazine that we advertised in was Scary Monsters.
Oh, that's right.
A similar type of book, and it kind of keeps that tradition going. But yeah, that's also a great magazine too, by the way. Shout out to Scary Monsters magazine.
But you're looking to get your collection.
Yeah, the Famous Monsters.
You're looking to bump up that famous collection.
Yeah, it's hard to find nice condition issues of them, and then the good stuff, all the old school monster kids got them all locked down, and they ain't parting with them. So I don't know. I'll have to wait for people to die or something, and then.
I feel like if you were to find...
No, I'll be able to find them. It's just work and money.
Well, yeah. I was going to mention the Crypticon thing. You know, Crypticon Seattle is coming up pretty soon.
Yeah. I've looked, maybe when I've been there, I haven't seen many dealers with that kind of stuff. I've seen more at actual comic book shows. Because they all in line with like comic books and magazines quite a bit. So I don't know.
Well, I was just thinking maybe you could reach out to somebody in like the Crypticon community ahead of time. You know, maybe there's a Facebook page.
Well, here's the thing is,
and you can jump in there and say, "Hey, I'm looking for these. Anybody got them? Let's meet at Crypticon."
The thing is, they're going to be expensive too, so it's not like I'm just going to go and buy them all at once. I'm going to buy one here and one there, and then you know, at the rate I'm going now, by the time I'm like 200 years old, I should be able to have the whole collection. That's my goal. 200. By the time I'm 200, I'll have all the issues. I'll have more issues than I already have. Got enough issues, but I need magazines.
Right.
So what other kind of interesting stuff is going on that we... we discussed all this shit before we recorded, and now it's like, what did we talk about?
Well, it's almost like, where do we start? Because honestly, there's a lot. I mean, last week we talked about, you know, a few movies that I went to. Like, I went to see Jackass Forever, and I went to see Scream 5.
Yep.
You know, recently watched Ghostbusters Afterlife at Home. And speaking of that, this is a good time for us to mention something. If you guys haven't already heard the news, I actually woke up to it. I woke up to this news.
If you grew up in the 80s watching comedies, you probably enjoy and love
a little bit
an Ivan Reitman film.
Yeah, so we're sorry to say Ivan Reitman has passed away.
Yeah, I think on the 12th. I guess he passed away peacefully in his sleep, which, he's known for Ghostbusters, Kindergarten Cop, Twins, Stripes, Meatballs, which was actually Bill Murray's first leading role. There's like a ton of iconic movies. I believe he did Animal House, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
Hopefully I'm not wrong, but yeah, man, it's a tough loss. It's been a crazy past few months for like these iconic people passing away.
Yeah,
watch one of his movies or something, and then a little tribute. Maybe not Kindergarten Cop is probably not his best one, but when that movie came out, I did enjoy it.
I kind of want to watch Twins. I couldn't tell you the last time I watched that.
Danny DeVito is always a trip, though.
Yeah, I like DeVito.
Danny DeVito and Arnold. Speaking of Arnold, he was in a Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah.
You watched. I know you don't really care for football, but you watched a game for the commercials.
I watched the halftime show. I watched the Dr. Dre concert featuring the Rams. Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean, I saw a good portion of the commercials in there, and there was the one with Arnold and Selma Hayek, and a couple weeks before the Super Bowl, that picture was leaked online. The photo of Arnold dressed up that way, and
it's like Zeus or whatever it was.
Yeah. Zeus, yeah. And there was nothing in there about the Super Bowl. People were just wondering if this was a photo from a new movie that he was going to be in. And turns out, nope, it's just a 30-second commercial that cost $7 million.
That's crazy. That it was $7 million for a 30-second spot during the Super Bowl. That's insane. Yeah. But yeah, that was a pretty good commercial. Though it was kind of cool. Him and Salma Hayek being a god and whatever her whatever goddess she was.
Yeah.
But before we carry on, I never thought I'd want a fucking baby Pegasus, but I kind of need one. That was the most adorable fucking thing I ever seen.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
Wouldn't mind having one of those. I think so.
Yeah. What were some of the other ads you like?
Too. Oh man, I love the Dr. Evil one. With Scotty, those two bickering back and forth. Like I like the Austin Powers movies a lot, but it's not really for Austin Powers. Really, like I like them for Dr. Evil, and
it's kind of too bad Vern Troyer not around anymore. Good to see him in there, but it was still cool.
That was cool. The Cable Guy commercial, that was cool too. Yeah, and it was funny. Somebody in the house while we were watching, they were like, "Oh, look at that Jim Carrey lookalike." No, that's really him. I guess they thought that it wasn't him because that movie's so old that it's probably somebody else trying to play a Cable Guy character and make it funny. Sometimes they try to bring him back again and with some other actor in a commercial, this doesn't work. But even with Jim Carrey doing it, it was kind of a bit of a stretch. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not as crazy about the Cable Guy character as some people are. But it was nice to see him again.
I think my favorite ad was the Rocket Mortgage one.
Yeah.
With the selling the Barbie house, and it was all competitive and shit. And then the end, she's like, "Yeah, we have a fixer upper," and it's like Castle Grayskull.
Yeah.
And then they cut to the little girl at He-Man, the neighbors kind of suck. And then Skeletor is like, man. Yeah, that was pretty good. I kind of geeked out when Skeletor and He-Man popped up. That was cool. It was kind of a weak year, though. There was a few okay commercials, but it was kind of a weak year for Super Bowl commercial. I remember in the old days, that was the shit. That was the best part of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, Steve Buscemi as a bowling alley attendant was pretty fitting. It's the perfect role for him.
Yeah. I was waiting for somebody. I mean, it's a commercial, so they can't say it on TV, but I was kind of hoping somebody would be like, "Shut the fuck up, Donnie."
Yeah. It was I was listening to the radio this morning, and they were talking about how the majority of the commercials are either for electric cars or cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Which is true.
What's kind of funny now that you think about it? The halftime show was generally catering to people kind of in their 30s, 40s, or whatever.
Oh, yeah. The people that are buying all the electric cars and cryptocurrency.
Well, yeah. And then if you think about the commercials too, a lot of those were basically kind of the themes were 90s based. I mean, we had a Cable Guy in one commercial. They had Dr. Evil and Scotty in another.
A lot of nostalgic.
They had the Barbie dolls with the Masters of the Universe. Yeah,
it's because these are the people with the money right now.
Yeah,
they have their target market audience. You know what I mean? And it's the people with the money, and it's them. Our generations, not me personally, but our generation of people are the ones that got the money right now.
Yeah, it was just kind of funny to think about that and wow, they they did
let me correct
strategize that.
Not the ones that got the money, they're the ones that are spending the money.
Yeah,
but the stupid one, the QR code, that just pissed me off. We're watching it and Ryan's like, "What the hell is that?" And she gets up to scan the thing, and it's cryptocurrency or Bitcoin or some shit, and it's fuck you.
Well, that worked because,
you know how many
we're used to
millions of
commercials.
people? Yeah.
Yeah, we're used to commercials being so busy, and a lot of them are, they have this giant production just to sell Pepsi or whatever it is. Half the time you don't even know what they're selling until the very end of the commercial. But with that one, I mean, it's just black screen and this little code floating around
the screen. Yeah.
So of course you're going to be intrigued by that.
The thing, it's the thing though, all these other companies, like you think like BMW spent a shitload to have Selma Hayek and Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then they had to pay $7 million to get it ran on the fucking thing.
Right.
It probably cost them a couple million to produce it. Then it cost them more money. You know what I mean? They end up paying $10 million.
That's what we were all talking about.
And the QR code was like nothing.
Exactly.
You can make that fucking thing on your cell phone and just share it. You know what I mean?
They paid the $7 million, and that's about it.
Yeah. I mean, it was smart, but it just pissed me off. I'm salty about cryptocurrency because, one, I don't know much about it, and two, I'm so fucking tired of hearing about it just because the name of our show, we get so much attention about it.
I know Sarah kept being like, oh, hey, look at that cryptocurrency.
We need to somehow fucking hitch on and get attention from it. Use hashtag crypto. And then
if we get $7 million from Buy Me a Coffee or Patreon, then we can have a little floating QR code up there on the screen for the, maybe 5 years from now and the Super Bowl. And
in 5 years from now, the Super Bowl ads are going to be like $12 million.
$12 million, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of luck. We'll never get a Super Bowl ad.
Yeah.
Never get a Super Bowl ad. But yeah, man, I know you don't care, but the Super Bowl was a great freaking game. But I did see so many people were like, I'm just watching the ads and then there's a game in between. I just seen somebody post about timing their bathroom breaks between the ads or something like that. But no, I love football, so I enjoyed the game. It was a good game. A few good ads. Overall, they were kind of disappointing, especially the creepy Amazon fucking Alexa mind reading ad.
Oh, yeah.
Which was like a crazy... Yeah, it was like Amazon warning us or something just so you know, in the future, we're going to be able to read your mind and we're going to own even more of your fucking shit. Anyways, fucking Amazon.
But, there were a few decent movie trailers. We saw the Moon Knight trailer.
Yep, that looks good. The series coming out soon.
They gave us another trailer for Doctor Strange 2, The Multiverse of Madness, which some people are saying online that they heard Professor X's voice, Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, they
heard his voice in there.
And
I didn't catch that.
Throwback. Who directed the new Doctor Strange movie?
Well, that would be Sam Raimi, of course.
Kind of call back to the Evil Dead talk.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I've never, I didn't grow up a fan of Doctor Strange. I didn't really know about the character until they started putting him in these live action movies.
Well, a lot of the characters dove into movies. That. We've talked about it before. No one really cared about the Guardians of the Galaxy until this movie. I mean, people cared. They had their fans, but it wasn't like it is now.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those niche things. You really, really had to be into comics to know about them.
Yeah. Or even over on the DC side, these characters that James Gunn brought out in the Suicide Squad. Yeah, I don't know nothing about none of these guys. And right now, Peacemaker is one of the most popular shows on television.
Yeah,
justifiably. So we got another Eagle hug, so that's good.
Yeah. And
he got to take a picture. He got to do a selfie with it. So I'm glad he got his Eagle hug selfie.
Yeah.
But
finally got
really
that.
Well.
It's been great. Yeah, there's one episode left. I'm not ready for it to end, but James Gunn actually teased on Twitter earlier today about how good it's going to be. He said, "Holy cow, it's a jam-packed episode." Yeah. And if you saw the last one,
really good,
you know what he means by "holy cow."
Yeah. Before we shy off too far from the Super Bowl festivities, you mentioned the concert in the middle, the halftime show.
The reason I watched
the 50 Cent surprise, which I cares, but
I didn't listen to 50 Cent. One of my best friends growing up, he listened to him all the time. So I heard plenty of 50 Cent, but I never got into him myself. But yeah, I mean, you guys know who was there.
It wasn't the best halftime show, but it wasn't bad. But
yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to shit on it, but it was good. It was good, but let's say it this way. For me, for me being an outsider who does not watch football, I don't know about the length of halftime shows and things like that. You know, they've been hyping this up for a while now, telling us how it's going to be this big spectacle. I expected more than 15 minutes.
That's usually what you get, though, 15, 20 minutes or so.
After talking, once it was done, after talking with family, they told me that, okay, that's generally what it is. But after it ended, I was like, that's it. I guess I was really hoping for more than like a song and a half a piece, or they didn't even do the whole song of any of the
segments of songs.
They got like a verse or a chorus, and
most of their vocals they pre-record too.
Yeah, I was just hoping for maybe like a 30-40 minute show.
You need to buy the concert ticket for that one.
Yeah, and like they got this big ass house out there on the field, and to be the production crew that brings all that out, you've got all this stuff going. You got like 3-4 cars parked. You got like 100 dudes crip walking in unison, and
there's a lot that goes into it for as little as it feels like.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like, why did people wasting this money?
Yeah, and these performers, man, like I mean, they're getting paid, and they're getting their flights covered, and this and that, so they probably don't care. Just the fact that they're playing at the Super Bowl is probably a big deal to them, and it is. They are breaking ground. I mean, we might actually be able to have hip hop at the Super Bowl again after this. So it's great that they did it, but I guess if I was them, I would have been like, that's it. Like, I'm only doing one. Like, we're going and doing all this, putting all this shit together for like a song a piece. I just was hoping for a little bit more, but it was cool. I love the way that the stage rose up, with Dre right there on the keys and everything, he was on the boards, and then Snoop there with him, and
the fake boards,
and the little the tribute to Tupac was cool, and I'm not really a 50 Cent fan, but it was neat that he was actually upside down when they brought him out.
But that fucking blood pressure all up.
Yeah. Like, can you guys get me down quick?
Yeah.
I gotta say, man, it probably sucked to be the people on the other side of the house. You know what I mean? Because like they were up on the top for a minute, and then Snoop and them went down below, and there's the band playing, but like the whole other side of the house is just
but they kind of went one side and then back to the other side. They kind of
did they? Okay,
yeah. But
all right,
you mentioned Snoop. That's the reason I brought it back up, because you've probably seen the ads for his comic, the Tales from the Crypt. It's a horror anthology series. What's really cool about it is I didn't realize until literally this morning that he has Rodney Barnes writing it.
Oh yeah,
he's like a TV writer, and he's written some other comics, like the fucking like highly acclaimed Philadelphia comic, which is a really good book. So it's kind of cool, man. He's working with Rodney Barnes on this. I think it's going to be a decent horror series. So let's see where that comes, where that goes and how that works out. But let's take a quick break and get to that interview with Ainsley.
Hey, I'm Felissa Rose, Angela from Sleepaway Camp, and you're listening to the Steve and Crypto Show. Yeah!
Hey, we are on the Steve and Crypto Show with a friend of the show and a fellow podcaster here to tell us about her show called One Dark Fright. You guys will dig it, I'm sure, but let's hear about it. Meet Ainsley Pompey. How are you?
Hi. Good. How are you guys?
Good. Sorry for a little delay. Finally got it going. And so let's jump right into the podcast.
Okay. So I had Tim Waverla and his partner Rebecca reached out to me about doing a podcast, and I thought maybe we were just going to do one episode, but it became a thing. So we've done 3. We recorded one last week and that didn't go so great, so we have to re-record tomorrow, but that'll be our 3rd episode, but we've recorded 4. One is just kind of like a little backup one because it wasn't that great, but we're enjoying it. It's fun. So we just talk about a different movie every month, like, a lot of people do, and a different horror movie. And yeah.
Were you guys kind of just lifelong friends that shared this love of horror, or then just one day it was just like, fuck it, let's do a podcast? Or was it?
No, actually, Rebecca and I have been friends on Instagram for a couple years. And I didn't even know. And then I was, following her partner, Tim, and I didn't even know that they were a couple. So when she reached out to me about doing a podcast, she said, oh yeah, and Tim wants to, join with us. And I'm like, Tim's your partner? Sure. Okay. I'm like, I'm learning new things, but yeah. So they just reached out to me prior to the holidays last year and asked if I wanted to join them. And we just went from there.
I think that's a really fun way to grow a friendship. Like, you know what, let's just make a podcast and just learn about each other on the way, Yeah, you guys, your first episode was right around the holiday time, and you did Silent Night, which is a cult classic. And episode 2, we were just mentioning before we started, was Scream 3, which might not be everybody's favorite of that franchise.
Right.
How
it's
do you
still fun.
Yeah.
It is.
They're all fun.
Honestly, when the Scream movies first started coming out, I wasn't a big Scream fan. And I kind of avoided watching them ever again until recently. I was trying to get myself hyped up for the new movie. So I went back and watched the first Scream movie, and I appreciate it a lot more now than I did then.
Right.
Because then I felt like they were trying to be this serious horror movie, and it's kind of goofy.
Yes.
So you look at it now, and it's like, this shit's just fun.
Yeah, exactly.
But what goes into selecting the movies that you guys cover? Like, how do you decide that we're gonna watch this movie? Is it just you guys have a list and we're gonna run through it, or?
We don't actually. The very first episode we recorded was comparing The Evil Dead to Evil Dead 2, because The Evil Dead is my favorite horror movie. So for whatever reason, we decided to start there. And then that's one that we haven't posted just because we sound a little like out of sync and stuff since it was our first one. And then as far as Scream 3 goes, we just kind of all collectively decided to do that one since the new Scream movie was going to be coming out, and we wanted to do what we think is the goofiest, like worst of the franchise. So that's why we decided to do that one. And then this month we were going to do Pontypool because it takes place on Valentine's Day, but we had some recording issues last week and that didn't end up working out. So we're going to re-record tomorrow, and we're actually going to do the Slumber Party Massacre just for something different.
Right. Are you think you're going to maybe circle back to the Pontypool recording since you already have notes and stuff ready to go, or?
I think Tim's thought with that was that he didn't want to just go ahead and do it again this week, so we wouldn't feel like burnout on it, But yeah, it might be something we might come back to because we really enjoy the movie because it's so different from most zombie films. So I definitely would love to maybe go back to it sometime. But if it's not something we go back to, I'm okay with that. I'm pretty flexible and we'll watch whatever and talk about whatever. So it's no big deal for me.
Is there any movie like is there one movie that you really want to make sure you guys do at some point?
I was sort of thinking about that today, and everything that I don't want to be like, let's do everything that I want to do, because I feel like I've kind of come up with a few of them. I definitely don't want to take that away from Tim and Rebecca, but I don't know. Maybe I'd like to maybe talk about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. Maybe sort of pick one of the films out of the franchise to discuss, kind of like what we did with Scream 3, one of the worst ones out of the franchise. But that's just, whenever down the line, if we decide we want to do that or not. But like I said, I'm extremely open to watching and doing whatever.
Right. You mentioned the Texas Chainsaw franchise. Yeah. How are you feeling about the trailer for the new one?
I'll watch it because I'll watch anything that's Texas Chainsaw Massacre related because I love the first two films. And I don't mind the 2003 version and even the 2006 version. I don't mind. But I'm apprehensive about it because I'm sure it's not going to be great. But I don't know how I feel about the idea of Sally coming back as like a reoccurring character as an older person, because I'm like, is she just going to sit and do nothing the way Laurie did in the last Halloween movie? But hopefully she'll get some badass like kills and things in there, but we'll see, I guess. So I'm cautiously optimistic about it, I guess.
The party bus scene, I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Yes, me too.
I think I was kind of on the fence, like, I'm going to watch it. Not in a big hurry to watch it. Mm-hmm. Once if I get time during the week, I'll watch it. But after seeing that scene, I was like, oh shit, it's going down. I'm gonna watch it as soon as possible. And now I might even try to get a little live tweet going this Saturday that it comes out. So we'll see about that, but could be fun. But yeah, just that scene like sold the whole movie on me.
I agree.
Just seeing him yoking dude up against the ceiling and kill all these geeks on their phones.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing when I had read that it was influencer kind of based. I was like, ugh, I'm like, no, I don't like that idea because, I'm a millennial and I'm like, like it sounds so like Gen Z sort of. So I'm like, I don't think I'm into that. But once I saw that, I was like, it'll be fine. It'll be
good. It'll be fun. If anything, it won't be perfect. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It won't be like the original.
No.
Since have you done any other podcasts? Like, is this your first show that you're part of?
Yes.
Yeah. So far, what are some of the things that you found that you really enjoy about it? And then some of the things that you're like, oh, it's a pain in the ass, like pros and cons kind of thing.
Well, fortunately, Tim does all of our editing. I don't think that's something like I have no clue how that, what goes into that. But some of the things that I personally struggle with is that I'm one of those that I'll think of an idea real quick and I need to get it out or I'll forget it. And so sometimes I might start talking over Rebecca, and that's something that I definitely need to like pull back on because I don't want to interrupt her while she's speaking.
Or if you wait, right? And then you forget it.
Exactly. So yeah. So that's something that I need to work on, but that part I don't like just personally about myself doing it, but I really love watching the movie and taking the notes. My husband will watch them with me and he likes horror too. He's just not as like into it as much as I am necessarily, but he's seen just as many or more movies than I have. And he'll watch them with me and we take notes together. And he always has some good one-liners that I like to add in there once in a while. So just doing the research I like.
Yeah, that's always fun. That's like prepping to interview somebody or something. I love just digging in and trying to find like weird stuff that I could bring up that so like a guest hasn't thought about or something in a while to kind of catch them off guard.
Right.
But where does your personal love of horror stem from?
Well, when I was a kid, I was always really afraid of Halloween and masks and just scary movies and scary stuff in general. I was really, really afraid of Freddy Krueger. My sister's 8 years older than me, so she was in that age bracket where she was watching that stuff, and that stuff was kind of like everywhere in the 80s, and I was very young, so I was terrified of all that. And so I think that fear was more an intrigue more than anything. So then once I kind of got past the fear, I just like went right into it and started watching a bunch of stuff. And I think I'm not sure what my very first horror movie was, but I do remember renting The Omen all of the time when I was in elementary school. So I think it just started from me just being curious and wanting to get over the fear of being afraid of all that stuff. And I mean, it worked for me because I'm not afraid of it anymore, but
then you just embraced it.
Yeah.
That's good. What's probably your, I mean, you mentioned you love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. Would that be your favorite horror movie? Do you have one?
Okay, so The Evil Dead, and I do like Evil Dead 2. They're not equal to me, but they're pretty close to me on the same level. And then I do like Freddy is my favorite killer, but I don't think his franchise is the best because it gets a little off the rails there for a while. Yep. But I don't know. I mean, I pretty much like every movie in the Halloween franchise, other than like I didn't really like the 2018 version or Halloween Kills very much, but the rest of them, like I can watch them. Some of them aren't good, but like I have no problem just sitting down and watching those and enjoying them. Some of the others, like I said, with Nightmare on Elm Street, some of those I'm just like, God, this is bad. I can't. Why is this even part of? Why is this part of this franchise? But
yes. Some of it's kind of goofy, but
yes,
it's still fun.
It is.
So I look at it.
You mentioned The Evil Dead. That's another favorite of mine as well. How do you feel about the premise of the new movie? Are you excited for what you do know about it, or how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I feel like I don't know very much about it really, but yeah, I'm excited just because has Evil Dead attached to it, and same kind of thing with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'll watch and see and have and take whatever that's attached to it. So I'm excited for it.
Any other, there's pretty good list of horror movies coming out this year. Anything else you're looking forward to?
Gosh, see, I'm so terrible about looking like ahead to see what's coming out.
Yeah.
What is...
I got an example for you. The Firestarter trailer just came out today, I believe. At least I saw it today.
I saw somebody post the poster for that. I didn't even know that was going to be a thing. I'm not against remakes. I like a lot of remakes. I like the Evil Dead remake a lot.
Me too, very much.
Good.
Yeah. I'm not opposed to them, but I don't know. I guess I'll watch them. I'll see how it is. But I didn't even know that was a movie slated for this year. So
I didn't either until a few days ago.
Yeah.
What are some other ones that are coming, Crypto? Like I'm totally like we actually went through a list of some that we wanted to see.
I got one for you, and we're taking it to the music realm a little bit. The Foo Fighters movie, Studio 666. We talked about it recently, but I want to know if you know anything about it or if you're into it. Are you excited for it?
I didn't hear anything about that, but I am interested, and I'm Googling it right now. I didn't even know. Dave Grohl.
They set up to record in a house. They set up in a house that has like some crazy history or something, and they end up getting possessed or something, and it gets all crazy and haywire. And Dave Grohl's energy will be good.
Yeah.
Well, since we just mentioned Evil Dead, it does kind of have, from the trailer, it has a slight Evil Dead vibe to me. You know, Dave's eyes turn black, and there's like a demonic book from the looks of it. So it should be fun. Trying to get my cat to move out the way.
Cat wants to be on the show. Tell your cat no. Tell your cat to go subscribe on our Patreon or something.
There's also that is Nope coming out.
Nope. That's right.
Yeah.
Nope.
That's coming. That's another one that we don't know anything about.
No. Nope.
There was a weird
Is that one coming out? Nope.
And then the one with Ethan Hawke. What is that called? Is Black Telephone or?
Oh yeah. Yep. That actually
something like that.
Looks solid. I think we're getting a Salem's Lot remake later in the year.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
We'll see.
Ooh. Okay, so that makes me think of not an upcoming movie, but just a show that's really fun. What We Do in the Shadows. Are you watching that at all, or have you caught up on it?
Yeah, I really like that. I got that. I watched the movie so long ago.
Oh my god.
And then when I heard that they're making a show, like I will watch anything that they do. It's so funny.
Yeah.
The humor is great.
I still think that's the best comedy in the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm. It's clever.
Shadows. Oh yeah.
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 Very. But we had you here to talk about podcasts. One Dark Fright. How would you you're talking to somebody on the street, how would you explain your show to them?
3 horror fans sitting down and watching a horror movie, and then just basically going down from beginning to end, kind of analyzing it and throwing in our 2 cents about, why we think they did what they did, and even themes behind them, and just the funny stuff that doesn't make any sense. Basically just kind of going all the way from beginning to end, talking about all the little details.
So I was going to add, if you will, it's honest. They're very honest.
Yeah.
But like she said, you find the weird details and kind of not shit on them, but just make sure people point it out and kind of say, look, this is dumb.
Yeah.
And this is why we might think it's dumb, but which I like. Okay, so One Dark Fright, 3 horror friends breaking down a movie.
Yeah.
They just started, or a couple episodes have been released. They have a 3rd one probably on the way pretty soon.
Yep.
There's a little delay, like you said.
Yeah.
Oh, where can people follow the show and get all the latest when episodes are coming out and all that good stuff?
So we have a Instagram account. It's just One Dark Fright Pod. I tend to post mostly over there, but Tim and Rebecca can get in there whenever they want and post. And then we're available on Apple, Spotify. Gosh, I don't know. I always listen on Spotify, so I'm terrible about all the links. We're available where you can listen to your podcast.
Just find it and you're there, right?
Yes.
Do you want to promote your own stuff, your own page? Because I know you put a lot of fun, interesting edits. You're very creative yourself. Besides the podcast, like you put a lot of photos, and you get kind of weird and sometimes goofy with it. And I think it's fun. I always look forward to what weird picture you're going to put up today. Like today was, I think, the exploding head one. I mean, feel free to promote yourself too. Get some more followers.
Yeah, I mean, I just do it for fun. I started that account in 2019, I think. Yeah, I'm kind of a weird girl. I like weird shit. So if I think of something, I post it. And right now I'm kind of stuck in this weird thing of wanting to do a bunch of weird edits. And maybe tomorrow I might not want to do that anymore. I don't know. I just kind of go back and forth and all over the place. But my Instagram is just at the _vivid_void. So
there you go follow Ainsley, follow the podcast, check out the podcast. It's fun. They know their shit, and they're definitely fun. They don't they're not like some shows that'll come off as like know-it-all. Those shows bother me. Their show is fun.
Yeah.
They're funny. You could tell they're passionate about it. You could tell they love what they're doing, and they're just having a good time. And that's what it should all be about.
After listening to the Scream 3 episode, I kind of feel like I want to go back and watch the movie again. There's little things that you guys mentioned throughout. They're like, oh, did I catch that before? Or do I remember that going down? Like,
I don't want to go back and watch it.
See, that's kind of how I feel too. I would watch it again, but I don't need to watch it anytime soon. It's so long. Yeah. It's like 2 hours worth of not Scream. It's just so different from the others. So
I'm not saying it's my favorite by any means, but I do enjoy it. It might be the bottom on the list, but I enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, hey, you got something else?
No. I was just gonna say it's really cool that your show kind of can breathe new energy into a film and make people want to go back again and watch. Like some shows you just listen along like, oh, that's cool, and they went on about it, but your show actually gave me that feeling like I should go watch that again.
I'm glad.
Yeah. There you go. That should be the thing. Like just go make people go watch bad just trick people into watching movies that weren't the best in the franchise. That should be like the whole your stick, you know what I mean? One Dark
Yeah, I
Fright,
have thought
making
about
you
that,
watch
actually.
shitty movies.
Well, then
Yes.
you'll end up getting all this mail from people like, I want my time back.
You're probably right.
Yeah. No, seriously though, they have a great perspective on things.
Yeah.
And check out One Dark Fright. It's a good show. Good people. Ainsley's cool. Follow her. And yeah, check it out. Thank you for coming on and
Thank you
for hanging out for a few.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
In the middle of the woods, in a secluded cabin, lives Aaron, a deranged serial killer on a gore-filled path of destruction. With each new victim, his appetite for blood and carnage increases. There is only one problem, though. His victims don't stay dead. Night of the Undead Whores, an extreme horror novelette by Eric Capitan. Now available on Amazon.
Hey, I'm Lee.
And I'm Brittany,
We're the two crazies from Night of the Horror File.
a horror movie podcast with new episodes every Monday. And today you are listening to
The Steve and Crypto Show. Haha. Was that good? Was I too corny?
Shut Up.
Hey, we are back. Make sure you guys go and check out One Dark Fright podcast. You can listen to it just about anywhere you find podcasts. It's a good show. Like I said, I love their perspective, and I think you guys would dig it too.
Yeah, I mean, you guys just heard the chat with Ainsley, so if you think that you can vibe with her and what she's got going on in the show, there's two more people on the show with her that you might like. So, I mean, I listen to podcasts all the time, and after a while, you kind of start to feel like these people in a way.
Yeah.
And so, or some of them you're like, damn, like we could be friends. Like I could totally hang out with this person. And I mean, we've talked about them a lot, but shout out to Night at the Horror File. Those people, those guys over there, I feel like we could hang out with them and watch a scary movie and talk some shit about it, which we might do one day. So
that would be good. And speaking of scary movies, we mentioned earlier that we want to do the horror trivia thing. So this could be a good time to slip in that question.
that's right.
Yeah.
Why not?
So we do that. So like I said, the answer. These questions will probably be easy, but I kind of just want to try to have some fun and come up with another reason to send you guys some goodies. So you kind of have clues throughout this episode too for this one. We've mentioned this director a couple times actually. So the director of Drag Me to Hell is most famous for what other horror franchise? If you know the answer to that,
Bay Pig in the City.
Message us. No, that's the other guy. Message us on in the Facebook group. Message us on our Instagram or Twitter. DM us so you don't give away the answer to people, which most people probably fucking know this. But anyways, yeah. So the director of Drag Me to Hell is most famous for what other horror franchise? So yeah, message us. Tell us what it is, and we will send you a little something for playing along. And thanks for listening. I kind of before we went to the break, I kind of cut Crypto off when I was talking about Snoop Dogg. And
yeah. Before we go any further, I just wanted to mention some more Snoop news because there's a few things.
Snoop news.
Might as well. Yeah, Snoop news.
Snoop-a-loop. We were
might
talking.
As well. I mean,
Not to interrupt you again, but we were talking about him the other night when he was performing.
Yeah,
we were talking about what the hell was the Will Ferrell movie? Was it Old School? When he was like, "We're going streaking." Remember? And he was like, "Snoop-a-loop," and he was like, "Yeah." I don't know. Whenever I hear Snoop Dogg, I hear Snoop-a-loop. But carry on, sir.
I heard that the Super Bowl told him he was not allowed to wear a rag out the back of his pocket. Like he couldn't wear a blue rag. So instead, he shows up at the Super Bowl with basically an entire blue rag for an outfit. Those guys they're not going to listen to all the rules. They're not going to obey everything. So like, Snoop basically did that as a fuck you to the Super Bowl or whatever. And then Eminem was told that he couldn't kneel, and
he did.
He took a knee.
But now the NFL is
backtracking.
Now the NFL is backtracking, saying they knew. But
oh yeah,
no,
yeah, I doubt it. Well, anyway, other non Super Bowl related Snoop Dogg stuff. He recently became the owner of Death Row, which is pretty big for him. And on top of that, he put out a new album. Seems like he put out a new album not long ago.
Does Death Row still put out albums? Or did he buy this property for merchandising and stuff? Which is going to be a lot of fucking money to be made.
That's a good question. I'm not entirely sure.
Either way, it's still a smart move because he probably got it pretty cheap.
Yeah, and I would hope
considering what he can make off it.
That he doesn't. I mean, if they aren't releasing music right now, I would hope that he does intend to do so. I would assume that he does. But yeah, I mean, he just put out an album a while ago that had the big subwoofer track on it, with the Mount Westmore crew. That was just a few months ago. Well, that was a few months ago that he put out a record, and now he's got another new record. And I haven't listened to it yet. I believe it's called Back on Death Row. And
so this is probably on Death Row Records.
I would imagine so. Yeah,
so this is like the first relaunch of Death Row, probably.
Unless he like put the album together before officially making everything final with Death Row, but
it was probably set up to be based around the announcement. He probably already had bought the company, the name, and then he was setting himself up.
Excuse me, I would think so.
And like, as a matter of fact, let's do it the Super Bowl weekend when we're performing and got all this press watching us.
Right. Yeah.
Clever. Smart.
Yeah.
Smart.
So
Snoop's become quite a businessman.
Yeah. Again, I haven't listened to the new album, but I did hear a snippet of a track featuring Nas, not Lil Nas X.
No,
Nas,
like the actual
original Nas. I don't like other rappers with the name Nas there's already a dude named Nas. Pick something else. Anyway, the original Nas is on the track.
Who is an amazing rapper.
Yeah.
And I think he's one of the greats, to be honest.
These two are going back and forth. On the portion that I heard, they're like trading off every 4 bars or whatever. And it sounded really good, man. It had like a old school vibe, just like a 90s hip hop vibe. So I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of the album.
I'll have to track that down. Back in those days, I listened to some hip hop, so might be able to get into that. I'll have to definitely check it out. Definitely check that out. And I guess it's not really hip hop, but it's kind of another cool nostalgic thing is that Hulu is reviving Futurama.
That's right.
Pretty cool. Like I'm hyped for that. I liked how it was really campy, but it was smart with their humor.
Yeah.
The only thing, like, I don't know much details about it. The only thing I know that I don't like is that they haven't come to a deal with John DiMaggio to return to voice Bender and other voices. And I guess they were working on casting somebody else to voice Bender because they hadn't reached a deal with DiMaggio yet. We'll see how that turns out because I guess both sides want to make a deal and get it done.
Yeah.
But not happening, I guess. But
is there any word on Katie Seagal? Is she coming back?
She's coming
for
back.
Leela?
I think everybody's coming back. The main people are coming back except John.
Except John, yeah.
Who was actually super cool. I met him at a Comic-Con years ago. And he was like one of the nicest fucking people I ever met. And he was talking to kids and stuff and doing like the Bender voice at him and stuff and like
telling all the kids, bite my shiny metal ass.
Yeah. Yeah. He was kind of
have a good
kids'
day.
minds doing the voices. It was cool. It's cool to see stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty exciting for Hulu, who is owned by Disney, which Disney.
The mouse owns everything.
Yeah, pretty much. There's the mouse.
He owns you and me. He owns
Amazon.
the show.
I'm waiting for the showdown, the mouse versus Amazon for like world dominance. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. But yeah, Disney, Book of Boba Fett, Book of Mando Fett,
Book of Mando, yeah.
Just ended their season. What do you think of that episode?
I thought it was cool.
You don't feel like everything kind of happened too fast?
It kind of did, yeah.
It was like a slow build, then boom, all this crazy shit, and then done.
Yeah.
I wanted more. I don't know.
It kind of feels like
it was well done, but
it was well done, but it feels rushed, and it felt like, they're like, okay, we only have these 7 episodes, we gotta cram it as much as we can. And I don't know, the last episode didn't entirely feel like a finale. Like,
yeah, no.
Maybe we're just getting spoiled, but there was some cool shit in there, but I don't know. It just felt like they should have given us a little bit more. Like 1 or 2 more episodes would have been great.
Something, yeah, like a 10 episode arc or something.
Yeah, and I feel like with the feedback of the series, with a lot of it not being good for some reason, not a lot of people didn't like it.
Again, it's because
it makes me
spoiled, but
but it makes me wonder if they're going to come back to this show again or not. Kind of makes me worry about that one. Like, they're going to give us more Mandalorian. They've already confirmed that.
I feel like they're going to end up just like, I hate to say it because it's my favorite character in the whole Star Wars universe is Boba Fett. I feel like they're going to kill him off and do more of a show with Fennec.
Yeah.
Which would be cool because she's fucking badass.
Yeah, she is. She's
and like
cool.
You can't really, obviously they're showing Boba's age. You know what I mean? Because he's not very fluid in all his movements, and you know what I mean. He's just slow.
Right? Doesn't have it like he used to.
Down, yeah. He used to be. He went through a lot of shit. He was starting to be fucking partially digested by a fucking big toothy butthole in the ground. Like,
Yeah. I mean, hey, any of us wouldn't be very fresh if we climbed our way out of a butthole.
Yeah, I mean, it was good overall. I enjoyed it. I kind of didn't like how Grogu had to choose between his adopted daddy and learning to be a Jedi.
Yeah,
but I feel like I think that's setting up for something big. You know what I mean? Like maybe Luke foreseeing like Grogu's need to be there, so he encouraged him to be there because he did kind of save he stopped the Rancor, then he snuggled up and took a nap, and perfect Disney style,
Yeah.
Yeah, it has a cute moment.
They're gonna sell a toy
like
or
Disney
or print. There's gonna be a poster or something of Disney, the Rancor, and
Disney wasn't gonna let us. Disney's like wasn't gonna let us have a big epic shootout without a good cuddle, snuggly, cute moment.
You're gonna be able to get like a big stuffed Rancor with a little Grogu next to it.
That like velcros to it and just sticks to it and it cuddles. Yeah.
Yep.
That's lame, but
or like the Rancor will be awake and you can rub its head and put it to sleep. Like they had toys like that when I was a kid. Not Rancors, not cool ones like that, but I think Furby was kind of like that, right?
Remember that?
You could put a Furby you could put Furby to sleep just by like rubbing its head or something.
By taking the batteries out.
Throwing it across the room.
Yeah. No, actually, those things, like, people are like, they're sought after now.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
A lot of those stupid toys people really want. Was one cool old toy that I kind of wish I had, though. I never got one when I was little either. Was the My Pet Monster.
Oh, I had one.
I never had one of those. I always wanted one. That, and I always wanted the talking Pee Wee Herman doll.
Yeah.
I never had that, and I always want one. I've almost bought them multiple times, but then it's like, fuck, do I want to spend $100 on a talking Pee Wee Herman? And half the time they don't work anymore.
Yeah. I think I I had a My Pet Monster, but I think my parents got it at like a garage sale or Value Village or something like that. But by the way, kids, Value Village was what was around before Goodwill.
Goodwill's been around a long time. It just wasn't.
Well, not out here. Yeah, it wasn't around out here, at least. You know, we had Value Village when I was a kid, and then eventually Goodwill moved in and took over. But yeah, I had one, and it didn't have the chains. That was
Like doubles the value to have proper chains, but
yeah. Well, that's the thing. I'm
you don't
thinking
have
about
it anymore.
now, like, no. So if I did have it with the chains, it probably would have been worth a little something. But without them, not quite so much. But I had one of those back in the day. I had the Alf puppets that you would get. I think you got them from like Burger King back in the day.
I think it was Burger King that had them. Those would be kind of cool thing to have now. But
yeah,
back to the Pee Wee Herman thing. I guess there was like a rumor that because the same company that made those made like a talking Freddy Krueger doll, and I guess supposedly some of the voice boxes end up in the wrong dolls. So there was like a fucking there was like a Pee Wee Herman that talked like Freddy or something.
I want that.
How cool would it be to have a Freddy that talks like Pee Wee Herman? Like that would be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Back to Star Wars shit. We finally got an Obi-Wan Kenobi date.
Yeah, May 25th.
May 25th, which is actually their Star Wars New Hope released on May 25th in 77, which is pretty interesting how that kind of worked out that way. So that's about it for the Star Wars stuff. We always end up talking about it longer than I planned, but horror stuff. At during the Super Bowl, they released a trailer for Nope. So the Nope trailer, it didn't show us much of anything. Like I still don't know anything about this movie except that Steven Yeun's in it, and that's it. So it's like, hey, Jordan Peele, can we get a synopsis? And he's just like, nope. Which I still think is one of the best titles for a horror movie, because that would be my one line in a horror movie. As soon as like I seen a monster or like Jason, I'm like, nope, and I'm leaving. That's it.
I picture Jordan Peele walking down like the Sunset Strip, you know, and then all of a sudden like all the TV reporter guys show up with their cameras and their microphones. They're like, Mr. Peele, do you have anything you can say to us about your new movie? Nope.
That's it.
He just keeps on walking.
Nope.
Just straight face. Like,
nope.
Can you tell us anyone who's in it? Nope. Well, can you give us a release date? Nope.
For real though. Me in a horror movie, I'd just be like, nope, and leave. Which is funny. It makes me think of I don't know how familiar you are with like old Richard Pryor stand-up. Yeah, he does a bit.
I watched him, yeah.
When he talks about if black folks had been in the Exorcist movie. And he's like, as soon as the devil spoke, like they'd be like, hello, and they'd be like, goodbye. And like and that would be it. Like, nope.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. But he does have a whole bit about it that gets kind of funny and raunchy, and making a comment about girl taking a bath and get to cross out her pussy and this and that. And just it's a classic bit. You gotta look it up. Go on, it's probably on YouTube. Search YouTube for the Richard Pryor Exorcist bit. It's a classic. It's one of the funniest bits ever. But yeah, scary movie stuff. Since we haven't really talked much about horror besides the Evil Dead stuff this episode.
Yeah.
Usually
well, like
we're
we've
a little
said,
heavier on it. Yeah.
We definitely jump around on the show, and it's not always horror stuff here. Sometimes it's just pop culture.
There is horror stuff. Like I mentioned, Nope. Nope. I just love saying nope. But we got a trailer for the new Firestarter movie that Blumhouse is producing based on the Stephen King classic. And I'm excited because I was kind of on the fence about going to see it because I'm not a big Zac Efron fan. But now I know it's going to be released in theaters and streaming on Peacock the same day. So that's exciting. That makes me feel better about going to see a Zac Efron movie, because now I don't have to go see one. But the trailer looks pretty good. Definitely not disappointing how it looks. It looks great. And actually, in just the trailer, like Zac Efron looks like he's playing it pretty serious and straightforward. So I'm not hating it so far. I'm kind of feeling good about it.
He's one of those guys that I think it kind of depends on the movie that he's doing, but sometimes he's not terrible.
He's one of the ones that's like, oh, I don't like him, but then you get sucked into his movie and enjoy it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I mean, this is a comedy, but the whole what is it? Dave and something need wedding dates. I can't think of their names, but that one's actually really funny with him and Adam from Workaholics.
Yeah, that is kind of funny. But I was like, oh man, do I really want to watch this? And it was like one of those free Redbox rental nights. I'm like, do I really want to see this crap? And then I watched it. And I was like, damn, that shit was funny.
Yeah.
And he was actually okay in it.
And he did one with De Niro too that wasn't that bad.
Which one was that?
Was it Dirty Grandpa, I think?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that was all right.
I just remember like De Niro, wasn't he like singing Wu-Tang?
I've only watched it once. I need to see it again, but I think so.
Another interesting thing about the new Firestarter is that John Carpenter is scoring the film, along with
really
Cody
cool.
Carpenter and Daniel Davies, which I thought is really cool because normally he just scores his own films.
Yeah,
and like he's not really involved in this that way, so that's pretty cool.
Pretty cool that he's willing to work with some new people. I mean, to make it a better production.
And then of course John Carpenter, the Halloween connection. There's another Halloween connection with this one is Scott Teems, who wrote the screenplay for the new Firestarter movie, co-wrote Halloween Kills. So it's kind of cool seeing all these horror projects kind of happening and just studios getting behind all these people like, oh, this guy wrote a really good thing here. Let's hire him to write this one too, because they know what's up, It's cool. It's kind of, I've said it a million times since we've been doing the show that horror has been really fucking blowing up in Hollywood, and it's cool. It's exciting time to be a horror fan. I mean, not all the best. They're not all perfect movies, but they're doing well and making enough money that they're wanting to do more. So that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. And it's even nice. I mean, Multiverse of Madness was mentioned briefly earlier when we were talking about trailers from the Super Bowl. Yeah. But it's even nice that Marvel is dipping into the
kind of horror vibe,
the horror realm a little bit. Yeah, because, and I've probably said this before, but a lot of the Marvel movies have like an underlining theme, whereas like Ant-Man was kind of a heist movie. Yeah. I've heard that Multiverse is supposed to be kind of a horror film in a way. Yeah. And when you have someone like Sam Raimi, working on it, I mean, it's he does. It's promising. It's promising.
He does horror pretty well.
So yeah, when you got someone like that who already has a known hand in the horror world, like they kind of started there, then
he's good enough that he was in our first trivia question. So hopefully you guys paid attention. But, time is winding down here today on this week's episode, but we are getting super excited to see that fucking party bus scene on the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
That's my big exciting thing I'm looking forward to this week. Last week,
all those phones going up to Instagram Live. Oh, yes. They're in for a show.
It's going to be good. We talked a little bit about it with Ainsley earlier in the episode, so we won't get too much into it, but just remind you guys, this weekend streaming on Netflix, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie is coming, and it looks like it might be pretty entertaining, so get on there, go do it. I did mention that I wanted to try to do a live tweet along, but I totally fucked up my schedule and realized that we had some guests that were recording this weekend for the podcast. So I'm not going to be able to do a tweet along, but I'll probably be watching it Friday night. So let me know if you're watching it, and maybe we'll still get a little conversation going
Yeah.
Y'all know how to hit me up, and you guys, the trivia thing. Let's make it a fun thing. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Message
Again,
us.
send us the answer, on our Facebook group page, or you can send it to us directly, through our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Let us know. We're waiting to hear from you.
Do it. Let's make the best of this little horror trivia game that I got for a Valentine's gift. And I guess this episode is our Valentine's gift to you guys. So Valentine's Day, eat some chocolate.
Big ol' hugs and smooches to all of you.
Eat some chocolate and visit
it's COVID time, so air hugs. Air hugs.
Yeah, air hugs. But like I was saying, eat chocolate. Visit our Patreon, patreon.com/SteveCrypto. Visit buymeacoffee.com/SteveCrypto. Follow us on social media. Share the episodes. Give us your thoughts. Rate and review the show.
Steve wants more boffies and doffies.
No boffies and doffies. That's not what I want for Valentine's Day. It's inappropriate, actually.
What we do want is more people to listen to this show. So we're not going to give you any more boffy and doffy jokes. But yes, please join us for all the crazy shenanigans and, random things we like to post in the Steve and Crypto Show group on Facebook. And again, Patreon, Buy Me a Coffee. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, The Steve Strout, Crypto Zoo 88. Did we cover everything?
We did. Just one last thing. Everybody send Crypto good vibes to hope he makes it through the week without any interaction from Boogersaurus or bathtub poops, brown sharks, or any of that stuff that nobody wants to deal with.
Stay out of the water. Avoid the brown sharks.
There you go. Our closing thoughts. Stay out of the water. Avoid brown sharks. With that being said, we have been the Steve and Crypto Show. Thank you guys for listening.
We'll catch you on a rhyme-free episode next week. Peace.